Hello everyone, today I'm going to be talking about the power in the process right now on the front. Hello and thank you for joining me today on the front. My name is Mike Phillips, I'll be your host. Today's theme is talking about power in the process. As always, you could please participate in the discussion down below. Please leave your opinions and suggestions as they may lead to a really excellent future show. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel or the podcast. I have audio and video, and you can check that out at mikep.tv. So when we're talking about power in the process, let's first talk about sales, for example, automotive sales. That's my world, right? And in automotive sales, our process, now whether you have 5 steps or 10 steps or 12 steps or whatever the number is in your store, I'm not advocating you run right out and you say, well, we got to adopt this process, because you have to figure what process is going to work for you. In our store, step 1, we have the greeting, right? So and this is when the customer's physically on the lot, ready to look at a vehicle. So you greet the customer. Second step is the wants and needs evaluation. So you're determining if the vehicle that they may have already picked out is the right vehicle for them, and you can help steer them to other options, them being the customer, to other options if that may not be something that's just fitting, because this may be the first time that the consumer has seen that product in person. Step 3 then is the walk around, the presentation, right? You're going to walk around the vehicle and actually show the product, have hopefully some expertise, some product knowledge to share with the individual. Step 4 then is the demonstration drive. So the consumer has the opportunity to put their hands on the wheel and actually test out the product prior to saying yes. Or no, but ideally we want them to say yes. And step 5 is closing up the deal. That's the avenue that we head down. So the process is quite simple. When you're starting it off at the beginning, right from the greeting, your expectation is, when I get over here to the end, I'm going to close the deal and sell a car. And hopefully, for the customer's sake, if you're efficient at it, they hope the same thing. They say, well, I came in to research and find somebody that I can trust and like and learn a little bit about the product, or learn more about the product, because in most cases on the internet, people are researching them significantly today. But I can learn about the product, have the opportunity to test drive it, experience it, and the consumer wants the same thing we do. Keep it simple, right? You want to sell one, they want to buy one, a product, in this case, a car. So in any process, it's designed to get you down that path from the beginning to the point at the end to whatever the goal is. Same thing, let's talk about just real briefly, a BDC process, right? If you have a phone process, for example, anytime you're going to pick up and answer the phone, we have a rule that says you have to either dial or answer with intention. What's your intention at the onset of that call? You have to set the intention. What's my plan? As soon as I'm going to pick up the phone, what's the goal? I'm going to set an appointment, because you can't, in most cases, you can't sell and finalize a product over the phone at this point in automotive. There's a bunch of debate on deposits and if car sales is going to go online. That's a whole nother show. So for right now, what we're talking about is, when you're answering the phone, the one thing you should be selling is yourself. And, well, the 3 things you should be selling: yourself, the dealership, and then the appointment. And so the phone process for us is, again, first the greeting, wants and needs. Sound familiar, right? The third thing then is get customer name and contact information, set a firm appointment, right? Drive them to the dealership, give them specific directions to the dealership, and ask for the referral and the follow-up call. So it's 6 steps. The goal is, again, just like a roadmap, it's going to get you from working on down through that process. So at the end of the call, if you answered with intention and you follow all 6 pieces of that process, you should be able to set the appointment, set a solid appointment, and confidently know that then, because you have some rapport established with the consumer, that at the end of the phone call, what do you want the outcome to be? You want them to show up, right? And then you start on down your sales process. So the reason I'm saying there's power in process is it's not just in sales. It's not just in BDC or phone. It's in life. There are so many different pieces of process in business and entrepreneurship. That's the buzzword of the century. I wrote a blog on it the other night, right? If somebody wants to be an entrepreneur, if you want to build a business, and think about this for a second, most people that are going to tune into this video blog or to my podcast are going to have heard the statement, success leaves clues. And I heard at a conference I attended last week, the statement shifted a little bit to success leaves blueprints. And I really like that. I connected with that because if you follow those same points, if somebody says, look, for you to be successful in this business, here's the 3 things or 5 things or 10 or 12 things that you need to do, and you need to do these in order. And if you can perform those, not flawlessly, again, you may not be an expert there yet, but if you can at least perform them with an average or better success rate, if you perform them, especially with excellence, if you're good at, these 3 points of this process that someone gives you to be successful in business, then you should be able to duplicate the result, right? You should be able to hit the goal. You say, hey, I want to start ABC business. And at the end of it, ABC business, I want to produce this product or this service or this result. You can find somebody that's done it, get their clues or their blueprints, and be able to produce a similar or same result, right? Same thing when I'm saying it's in life. Think about this. Baking, right? You have to follow a recipe. There's a process to baking. And I'm not just saying cooking, because cooking you can sometimes get away with a little dash of this and a little dash of that. But baking, there are often specifics that you have to follow that process and the steps in order to achieve the cake that you want or the souffle that you want or whatever it may be. And if you don't do it in that order, then you get a lump. You don't get the outcome you wanted. The AA, right? It's a 12-step program. And why there are many people, if they in AA, I've attended numerous AA meetings myself. And so as you go through that process, and if you truly accept in your heart and mind those 12 steps and work through it genuinely, and you have a belief that it will work, you'll get the outcome. You get to the other side sober, right? But then you have to continue to do those same steps in that same process. It's rinse and repeat. In the Bible plans, if you want a specific goal or there are numerous Bible plans that daily devotionals, or there's Bible plans for fathers and mothers and families and parents and entrepreneurs, you name it. There are different Bible plans set up so that you're not reading the Bible from start to finish, but you're reading specific passages and specific portions in a specified way that you get an outcome, that you receive the message differently based on the Bible plan. So there is so much power in following and executing on the process. As I say with many of the shows that many of the podcasts that I've done, the key ingredient, the number one key ingredient for me on process is taking action. You can't just line the process out. You can't just take a map and say, hey, here's where we're going, but then you never go get in the car and leave, right? You never put on the hiking shoes and head up the hill. You just say, well, here's the map. The map does nothing. It takes action and follow through, execution. So I do know that I say that a lot. I'm a huge fan. I mean, there's so much that can be said for taking action on anything, especially something like when we're talking about a process, an A to Z or a 1 through 5 and so forth. So here in closing, here's what I think. If you want things to go smoothly, if you want things to be predictable, especially if you're a salesperson or a marketer watching this, if you want a predictable outcome, find the outcome that you want, find the person that produced that outcome, and find out what their process was. Write it down and then follow it. Make yourself a map, right? So that is my message for today. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in to me, Mike P, on The Front. And as always, I certainly appreciate you. Check it out at mikep.tv. Also, as a reminder, I do this every Wednesday and Sunday. Coming this Sunday will be my recap of my trip to Philadelphia and the Internet Sales 20 group, which was a great automotive internet BDC-based, marketing conference, but we got a little bit of everything, service and F&I, and so I'll have some tidbits on that in there, plus the travel cliff notes, so it was a lot of fun. Thanks again for tuning in, and I hope you have an absolutely fantastic evening.